The Rat pedal has been a go-to distortion for guitarists in many different genres. It can deliver that classic crunchy overdrive or crank it up, and it can deliver fuzzy distortions. And it also has a pretty unique filter section as well. In this video, we're going to see if the free Nembrini Audio Black Distortion can deliver that Rat pedal sound. I'm going to check it out on guitars, obviously. I'll compare it to a pedal, and I'll also check it out on some other instruments. I'm Zane. Welcome to Audio Tech TV. I've included a link down in the description to the free Nembrini Audio Black Distortion. It's available on Mac or Windows as VST2, VST3, AU, and AAX formats. And also to note, you do need an iLok account to use this. It's free to get one, and you don't need that dongle. Now, let's jump in. So before we give it a listen, I just want to talk about the signal chain for this. I recorded my guitar into a DI that was going directly into my Audient ID44 audio interface. And also on this track, I do have the Hybrid LePou plugin. This is an amp head. And then I have Cabin from Analog Obsession, and this is a cabinet plugin. So I wanted the pedal to go through an amp head and into a cabinet, just like you would be using a real guitar pedal. So this is what it sounds like with the distortion off. So it's a pretty clean guitar sound. Let's enable the black distortion and hear what that sounds like. So that's about where I like to use the Rat distortion, right near the beginning of the drive. It kind of gives that nice classic crunch, but as you heard, when we crank it, this thing can deliver massive distortion. Now let's try it on another track that's a little more heavier by design. Here's what this track sounds like without the black distortion. Very clean. Now let's enable it. So I really like that filter. It can filter out some of that harshness at the top and also brings out some of that bottom end if you turn it to the right. If you turn it to the left, it kind of allows all that high-pitched stuff to go through and you'll hear some of the harshness, but maybe that's desirable in some sounds and in some settings. That's what it sounds like on guitar. Now, I want to compare it to a pedal. So I have this Black Rat distortion pedal. It is from Mosky. Not sure if you can see that on there. It's a very budget price pedal. I don't have a Rat anymore, but this one is supposed to sound just like a Rat, and it kind of competes with something that's also supposed to sound like a Rat, but isn't. So I'm going to get this hooked up, and then we'll listen to the guitar through this and compare it with the plugin. All right, so I have it connected. It's in here, and I've just routed it in there like it's a plugin. So it's going to go through the same chain of the Hybrid and Cabin. The signal chain and the audio is the exact same. So I'm just going to go over and start to listen to the Black Rat pedal, and we'll hear how that sounds. Alright, sorry about that. I had to hold the camera while I was adjusting that, so the quality of me adjusting the dials wasn't the greatest, but I actually like the plugin better than the Black Rat pedal. So I'm going to disable the pedal, and we'll play around with this again, just to remind you of how this one sounded. In my opinion, this is a lot nicer than that pedal. When we got up to the heavier drive on the pedal, it sounded terrible. Now let's just try it out on a couple of other instruments that aren't guitars. So I have Easy Drummer loaded up, so we'll listen to what the Nembrini Audio Black Distortion sounds like on drums here. All right, maybe if you really wanted to mangle some drums up, that could be good on there. Just thought I would try it out. Now let's try it out on a synth track. So here's what the synth sounds like without the distortion. Let's add it in there. All right, so that was pretty interesting. You might want to try that sometime. Put this onto your synth sounds, maybe even try it out on basses, drums like I showed you, whatever. Is it worth downloading? Absolutely. If you want that Rat sound, I wish I had a Rat pedal to compare this to directly, but I do know from using Rats for years that this does give you that Rat sound, and it's a free pedal. Well worth the download. And if you want to check out 20 free guitar amp sims, click the video on the screen right now. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating, and we'll talk soon.